So the Broodlord can take psychic powers, and he automatically has the same two every time. The Aura of Despair, that's used at the beginning of your assault phase of all times, and he projects a 12-inch bubble of -1 leadership. And by the way, it's cumulative if you have multiple Broodlords using this power. By the way, you can convert an awesome Broodlord out of a Tyranid warrior, and I really think that's the way to go with the Broodlord is convert one from plastic. Okay, they also have Hypnotic Gaze. So basically, it allows you you do basically a roll off, and the Broodlord can prevent the enemy character from doing any attacks. And by the way, that's fantastic in a challenge. Now I'm looking at Gene Stealers again and seeing they're only 4 points more than an Ormagaunt. So, guy, what if I had 100 Gene Stealers? Now that'd be interesting. So anyway, let's move on. But just to sum up, Gene Stealers really are just Broodlord delivery systems nowadays, and quite frankly, there's other Tyranids that do their job better in the list. I'm not going to talk about Rippers; they really are just pathetic all around. Let's go on to Fast Attack. And I was going to say what to get in an army. So if it were me, I would get probably 20 gargoyles or nothing at all. Raveners, I would get 6 or nothing at all. Raveners, by the way, the Ravener bodies. Do we get to see a sprue here? Yes, we do. The Ravener body is much bigger than a Tyranid warrior body and makes a great conversion for a Broodlord, a Tyranid Prime. There's an absolute ton. If you just put legs on this guy, he can make a decent Prime. So, and recently I've been experimenting with making Zoanthropes out of these guys. So anyway, the Harpy is too complicated to get into given the time that I have, and there's no published model for the Harpy. Okay, terrain effects. Boy, people, you will hear a lively debate online about whether the terrain effects is any good. Quite frankly, I think there's other things that do his job. I mean, the terrain effects can be an armor buster or an infantry buster. And the only thing I like about the terrain effects is the acid spray. In fact, let's see, because not only does it look cool, sound cool, here's an acid spray. There it is. Look at that gun. That is just really super, super cool. This model is on this giant oval base. It's really awesome. Personally, I would include one just because they look cool, and it is a bit of a fire magnet, so people will want to shoot that guy. So anyway, Trigon. Now, Trigon is interesting. This is you'll see them in competitive lists. They can deep strike. They have 6 strength, 6 toughness, 6 wounds, 6 attacks. They just come with a ton of powers. They have subterranean assault, which allows you to basically it creates wherever they pop in, it creates a hole, and then other creatures can deep strike out. But the problem is they can only deep strike out from the hole piecemeal, so that makes them not that good. So anyway, I'm using GW's 360 feature here. So this kit is really spectacular. I got to hand it to Games Workshop. They just keep putting out these amazing kits, and I just don't see anyone competing with them at the level that they're at. Now, for 40 points, you can upgrade to a Trigon Prime, which makes him a Synapse creature. And I found this to be very helpful because by the time all your other creatures get across the board, your Synapse web might not be that great. Personally, I think a good strategy with Tyranids is to just have multiple vectors. And by the way, here's a Moloch. Got a little termagant there for scale. A Moloch is a less killy version of the Trigon, but wherever he pops out, things take a Strength 6 AP2 hit, and that can be pretty cool. And so he's the Moloch's kind of a hit and run disruptor. type. In fact, he has the hit and run rule and can go back into reserve. So yeah, Moloch is pretty cool too. So if I were making a Tyranid army, Trigon is going in there. Now the Carnifex is interesting. You got to think, well, what role does the Carnifex play? Really, he's basically a tank buster. They're with the new Smash rules. He can get up to Strength 10, and but lose half his attacks. But his attacks are only base. His attacks are 4, so we go from 4 to 2. You get Crushing Claws, is a great option for both Turvagon and Carnifex. Gives him plus D3 attacks. So with Smash, the D3 happens after the reduction. So it's really a fantastic way to go. What you do want is Devourers. 2 Twin Link Devourers give you 6 shots. So oddly, the Carnifex is now your anti-air role in the Tyranid army. So beef them up with some Zoanthropes and let them fly at the enemy lines. And okay, let's move on. I'm a huge, so basically there's your Tyranid army. So let's recap. You're going to get 2 Turvagons. You're going to get, which will be troops choices. You're going to get a Hive Tyrant, flying Hive Tyrant probably. If you get one on foot, grab some Tyrant Guard. You're going to get 3 Zoanthropes. Then if there's points and resources left, get a unit of 3 Hive Guard, maybe another unit of 3 Zoanthropes, ignore the rest. You're going to get 5 boxes of 5 boxes of Ormagants, 5 boxes of Termagants, and you're going to ignore the rest. You're going to ignore fast attack, basically, unless you want to throw some gargoyles in there for kicks. By the way, Shrikes, we didn't talk about Shrikes. I'll get back to that in a minute. And you're going to get a Trigon and maybe 2 Carnifexes. And that's a pretty good, balanced Tyranid list. You'll have a lot of fun with it. And I do believe that comes out to about 2,000 points. Not sure. Maybe someone can check my math on that. Biovore. Now, the Biovore's undergone several incarnations. This one harkens back to the... there really is only one picture here. Harkens back to the edition where they were toying with the idea that Tyranids would absorb other races. So you'll notice this head has a distinct orcish feel to it. And this is where the orcs found their place in the Tyranid DNA structure. So anyway, Biovores basically make it dangerous for your opponent to be in the back lines, and I've used them to devastating effect against Tau and Imperial Guard armies. And quite frankly, though, I'm not a big fan of the model. As I mentioned before, you will want to look at your Pyrovore. Even though the model is spendy, it's really fantastic, and quite frankly, I think this is a better look for a Biovore. All right, well, that's all I have to say about Tyranids. Did want to put a little postscript on here, is that if you email us, we have these great spreadsheets, pricing spreadsheets. Here's what they look like. And basically, when you get this, you can play around with it. Pretty much just, you go to columns B and C here, and you just input the quantities you want. So Hive Tyrant, you'd say I want 1 Hive Tyrant, and so that tells you the cost of the model, the cost for painting, and the cost for assembly. And you can adjust the level of painting from 2 to 7. So I don't recommend, well, actually, doing masked Griblies at level 2 is a really good idea for Tyranids, just for the cost factor. I recommend not doing the HQs for Tyranids more than 1 level above the other ones, just because you don't want them to look too different. And because normally I recommend a split of 2 levels higher for the heroes. So level 2-4, level 3-5, level 4-6 are typical things. So we go down here. You'll notice I have a special here, Gaunt Swarm, 60 models. So you just put in 1, and then that would be the cost, and that's less than doing it individually. And so you just put in whatever your quantities are. You can toy around with your level. And even then, you're still not done. If you contact me and you say, Sean, I want to, I have to paint so many of these. I got to keep my costs down. I can make some recommendations. Usually, I'll give you a break for bulk. Bulk is usually over 10 to 20 models at higher levels, and at the lower levels, it has to be usually 50. Not always. You got to understand that there's a lot of models published for Miniatures Battles End, so a lot of what we do is case by case basis. But anyway, you could just go through and just say, all right, I need 3 zoanthropes. I'm going to have them done at level 3, and you just go ahead and put in your quantities, and down at the bottom you will get a total. It'll say the total for your models, total for painting, and total for assembly, and then it gives you a grand total over here. And then in the bottom right you have your payments, and this is really kind of like a running invoice, and that's how we keep track of these relatively complicated orders. And you are, of course, welcome to send in your own models. Some people already own them. Some people want to use a particular internet retailer, or they want to use their local shop. And so don't forget your battle foam bag. We do have options for battle foam. You can go direct through battlefoam.com, or if you go through us, we make sure everything's custom fit, and we take care of the sort of the administrative end of making sure that your battle foam is just right for your army. And I got to tell you, when you receive a package in the mail and you open it up and there's a battle foam case in there, you open the case, zip, zip, and there is your painted army ready to go, where you can just grab it by the handle and take it down to the local shop and pull out those pieces nestled in that charcoal gray foam like jewels. That is a feeling like $1,000,000. It is really just absolutely fantastic. So anyway, contact bluetablepainting@gmail.com. I can send you some general information, send you one of these spreadsheets to play with. And you don't even have to do this. You can just send me an army list. You can just ask me for a quote, and I'll go through and fill this out for you and tell you what the numbers are. So anyway, and this is true of any army. I'm just gone over Tyranids because they're of particular interest to me right now, and they have really fantastic kits out, and I do highly recommend. I'm just going to go and do one more thing. Let's go to Forge World and take a look at what they have for Tyranids over at Forge World. So Warhammer 40K, Tyranids. I've heard the Hierophant is just an absolute machine in Apocalypse. Haradan, 230 British pounds. By the way, that's about $400. Yeah, but this model is like 18 inches long. It's huge. It's absolutely fantastic. This is the old Winged Hive Tyrant. That's really obsolete because now there's a new one. These guys I think these are like 500 points each, so they can be played in relatively small Apocalypse games. So this is like the Tyranid equivalent of a Bane Blade. The barbed Hierodule and the scythed Hierodule. And this model is really cool. This is a 6-inch base here. So this is actually bigger than a Tyrannofex. And what else? The Stone Crusher is a pretty good option for Carnifex. I do believe they get improved regeneration of some kind. They do get some advantages. And these claws are really cool. I would recommend, if you're getting a Carnifex with Crushing Claws, you have the resources, get this one from Forge World, because that is just a really, really cool piece. Gotta hand it to Forge World. They keep doing a good job. You've got these Rippers down here. Ripper Swarms are pretty terrible, though, but if you are going to get them, get the Forge World ones if you can. Here's Tyranid Warriors with Wings Conversion Kit. Personally, I just like Gargoyle wings, and because the problem with these is they do not rank up. Like, look at how big the wings are compared to the 40mm. You're going to have problems with these wings. They're not as good as just plain old Gargoyle wings. Meiotic Spores, I use these as Venom Thropes, but they do have special rules, and they float around the battlefield and explode. So you've got your Carnifex Carapace and Scythe Tail kit. This is all from the just by the Stone Crusher Carnifex upgrade kit. It is really really pretty cool and comes with everything. All right, well, that's all I have to say about Tyranids. I want to thank everybody for tuning in, and I want to just say, for now, this is the audio that I have, and I would just, I'd recommend just rolling with that and appreciating it for what it is. And improvements are to